Alright, welcome back. So, for today, we're just going to move the obstacle, and we're going to update the path as we move the obstacle, and it's going to be fun. Alright, let's just move this around here. Alright, if we go back into our enemy, or was it the navigation mesh? Yes, it was. We'll see like we have a few points over here, right? And I'm just gonna add a little obstacle right here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it a path maker, and then we're just gonna have 2 points. One is the origin and the other one's here, so the obstacle just moves like left and right. Nothing too fancy, I guess. Alright, so with that done, the next thing we would do is we go into our enemy, and for the obstacle node, we're going to put the object instead of the obstacle box, and then we're going to change a few lines in code and add a few lines so it'll look a little cooler. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is in our path maker, we're going to add an object path, because now we have an obstacle, or maybe ops path, whatever. Alright, so we have that. What we're gonna do now is over here, instead of path, we're gonna probably clean this up a little bit. There you go. Now path are together. We're just gonna mute them because we're not using them. And instead, right next to it, we're gonna do the object path, right? And we could just copy paste this stuff. Instead of path maker node, we're gonna use the obstacle node, right? Because that's what has our path maker, and then object path dot initialize the path. The next thing we're going to do is over here, instead of obstacle node, because it does not have our obstacle box, it's our child, so we're going to do the get child and then call child number 0. That's where we kept our obstacle box, and we're going to connect that, so that connects itself. Perfect. The next thing we're going to do is inside our update function, right, over here, well, we can write it wherever we want. Over here, let's write it here, right? Object path dot move along path. So now the point is being moved along the path, and then the object path dot move object, and we're going to move the obstacle node, or we can move the child itself, the obstacle box. It doesn't really matter. Just move one of them. It's not going to change anything. So we're going to move that. And the last thing we're going to do is actually, well, now that the object's moving, what's left is actually updating our pathways. So if we actually play this, we have the object moving. Perfect. But we don't have our, what do we call our path route updating. So we're going to do that in real time. So for here, we're going to go into our nav create over here. I'm going to take this line where it says new path route, and I'm just going to add it here so we can have it only creating it once. And that's going to be in our init, right here, in our initialize, right? And then for the update, we're going to take this create to the, and we're going to add that inside our, what do we call, over here. Let's just call it move nav route. All right, and now it's going to move the nav route, and let's just check it out. So now, as you can see, when the object takes a space, it's going to move our navigation route to account for the movement. Now let me move it somewhere where it's more, I guess over here looks good. Yeah, so let's move that. So now with our new updated, as you can see, the thing is moving pretty much as fast as it can. We can also change a few things. So over here into where we are creating, right here, what we can do is pathing I did not write that, dot radius equals to 1. We can even make it equals to 2. All right, so now as you can see, when we make it equal to 2, it sometimes does this where it says you can't really access it because this is too small. So what we're gonna do is we'll make it into 1.05f, maybe 1.25f, sounds cool enough. All right, with that, now we have our path route. As you can see, our path route easily modifiable and fixable. So before, where it was cutting corners around here, now we have the route actually taking proper turns and everything. All right, so with that done, now we actually have that one little second where it just goes all around. That's crazy. Now we have a movable box and an updatable path route, and everything's good. So the next thing we're going to do is actually probably refactor, as I was saying in the C++ tutorial, is refactor our code, because the navigation, creation, visualization, the obstacle movement is not really supposed to be in the AI of the shooter. The whole point of shooter AI is that it only holds the logic of the AI, which is basically, it should specifically just hold this and probably this, right? Everything else should be in like its own separate class, just being called by a component, style or inheritance or whatever, but it should not be here. So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna refactor it and change it before I make the next video, and we'll probably have something like finalizing this, adding sounds, and I guess scores, points, update, restart. We'll see what we can do from there. All right, until then, I will see you guys next time. All right, goodbye.